The news that has shaken Hollywood to its core is nothing short of heartbreaking. In just a matter of days, the industry has lost some of its brightest stars, leaving fans and fellow celebrities in deep mourning. The past few days have brought sorrowful headlines, each one more devastating than the last. But what truly makes these losses even more haunting are the untold stories behind them, the struggles, the triumphs, and the final moments that leave us questioning how fleeting life can be. Lenny Schultz, the man who could light up any room with his chaotic energy and unpredictable humor, is no more. On March 16, 2025, the world lost one of its most unique comedic voices at the age of 91. His son Mark confirmed that he passed away due to natural causes at his home in Delray Beach, Florida. But for those who knew him, both personally and through his legendary performances, it was clear that Schultz's influence on comedy was anything but ordinary. His wild, unfiltered comedic style set the stage for legends like Robin Williams, Carrot Top, and Sam Kinison. He thrived on unpredictability, often leaving audiences gasping for breath between uncontrollable fits of laughter. Before stepping into the spotlight, Schultz was simply a gym teacher in Queens, encouraging students to stay active while harboring a deep passion for comedy. In 1969, he took a leap of faith, performing at the Improv in New York. It wasn't long before he became a recurring guest on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, The Merv Griffin Show, and The Ed Sullivan Show. His performances were not just stand-up routines, they were full-blown spectacles where anything could happen, and usually did. Despite his fame, Schultz remained committed to his roots, continuing to teach for over a decade while performing at night. But age eventually caught up with him, and in his later years, health struggles took their toll. 2 battles with COVID-19 left him weakened, and the vibrant comedian who once thrived on physicality had to step away from the stage. Yet, his legacy remains. Even today, his name sparks laughter, and his performances live on through old recordings that remind us why he was one of a kind. Then there's the gut-wrenching story of Gene Hackman, a Hollywood titan whose final days paint a tragic picture of isolation and loss. The 2-time Oscar-winning actor, best known for his unforgettable performances in The French Connection and Unforgiven, passed away on February 26, 2025, at the age of 95. But it's not just his death that's shocking. It's the heartbreaking circumstances surrounding it. Hackman had lived a quiet life in Santa Fe, New Mexico, for decades, far removed from the glitz and glam of Hollywood. He had retired from acting in 2004, choosing instead to focus on writing and painting. However, as he grew older, health issues crept in, and he became entirely dependent on his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Theirs was a love story built on mutual devotion, but fate had a cruel twist in store. Arakawa, his only caregiver, unexpectedly passed away due to a rare virus, leaving Hackman completely alone. With his late-stage Alzheimer's disease, he was unable to call for help, and for nearly a week, he remained undiscovered. It was only 8 days later that authorities found both bodies, a tragic ending to a life that had once been filled with cinematic triumphs and artistic pursuits. Friends and neighbors were devastated, remembering Hackman not just as an acting legend, but as a man of quiet strength and deep introspection. The sadness surrounding his final days serves as a sobering reminder that even the greatest figures in Hollywood are not immune to the cruelty of time and fate. But as we mourn these legends, another heartbreaking tale unfolds. The once vibrant and beloved Teri Garr, known for her quick wit and memorable roles, faced her own struggles in the final chapters of her life. Born on December 11, 1944, in Los Angeles, she was practically destined for stardom. Her father was a comedian, her mother a dancer, and young Garr found herself drawn to the spotlight from an early age. She started with small roles in Elvis Presley films before landing her breakthrough role in Young Frankenstein, where she played the charmingly clueless Inga opposite Gene Wilder. From there, her career skyrocketed, leading to unforgettable performances in Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Tootsie, the latter earning her an Academy Award nomination. Garr's success wasn't just limited to the silver screen. She became a household name, a regular guest on Late Night with David Letterman, and even had a beloved role as Phoebe Buffay's eccentric mother on Friends. But behind the humor and charm was a woman battling a relentless illness. In 1999, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, a disease that slowly took away her mobility and forced her to step away from acting. Despite the immense challenge, Garr remained fiercely determined, using her platform to raise awareness about MS and advocate for research. Her memoir, Speed Bumps, Flooring It Through Hollywood, offered an unfiltered look into her life. The highs, the lows, the laughter, and the pain. She was honest about her struggles, but her spirit remained unbreakable. Even as her condition worsened, she continued to inspire fans with her resilience and humor. But Hollywood can be a cruel place, where the spotlight quickly fades, leaving even the most talented stars to fight their battles in solitude. As we remember these incredible individuals, it's impossible not to reflect on the fleeting nature of fame and the deep impact these stars have had on the world. Their journeys were filled with triumphs and tragedies, moments of immense joy and unbearable sorrow. But what remains is their legacy, one that continues to inspire, entertain, and remind us that behind every celebrity name is a deeply human story. Teri Garr's journey in Hollywood was nothing short of extraordinary, and even in her final moments, she left behind a legacy of brilliance, humor, and resilience. Passing away peacefully in Los Angeles at the age of 79, she was surrounded by loved ones who had witnessed her unwavering spirit throughout the years. Her decades-long battle with multiple sclerosis never dimmed her light, and her influence in comedy and film remains unparalleled. With over 150 film and television credits, she was a force to be reckoned with. A woman who brought warmth, wit, and intelligence to every role she touched. Even as her health declined, she never allowed it to define her. Her passing is a poignant reminder that true legends never fade. They continue to inspire long after their final curtain call. Dame Joan Plowright, a name synonymous with elegance, talent, and an indomitable spirit, bid farewell to the world on January 16, 2025, at the age of 95. She was a revered figure in British theatre and film, with a career that spanned more than 6 decades. Winning a Tony Award, a Golden Globe, and earning an Academy Award nomination for Enchanted April, she proved time and again that she was among the greatest of her generation. As the wife of Sir Laurence Olivier, their love story was one for the ages, both on and off the stage. Despite her immense success, Plowright faced her share of personal and health struggles, including a gradual loss of vision that eventually forced her into retirement. Yet, she remained a towering figure in the acting community, and her dedication to the craft never wavered. Her final bow marks the end of an era, but her influence on theater and film will forever resonate. As the West End dims its lights in her honor, the world mourns the loss of a true luminary, yet celebrates a life so richly lived. The golden era of Hollywood musicals lost one of its last shining stars when Mitzi Gaynor passed away on October 17, 2024, at the age of 93. Known for her dazzling performances and infectious energy, she was an icon of stage and screen. Her portrayal of Nellie Forbush in the 1958 musical South Pacific remains legendary, with her rendition of "I'm Gonna Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair" forever etched in cinematic history. Born in Chicago, Gaynor's passion for music and dance was evident from an early age, leading her to star alongside legends like Marilyn Monroe and Ginger Rogers. But her career wasn't limited to the big screen. She conquered the stage, touring globally, and became one of the top-earning entertainers in Las Vegas. Even in her later years, she continued to shine, earning an Emmy Award in 2008 for her television special. Though she had no children, her artistic legacy endures, inspiring generations to come. She lived a life drenched in glamour and talent, and though the curtain has fallen, her radiance will never dim. Few actors could command a scene with the effortless charm and sophistication of Tony Roberts. A distinguished presence in both Broadway and Hollywood, Roberts was known for his sharp comedic timing and long-standing collaborations with Woody Allen. With 2 Tony Award nominations under his belt, he had an uncanny ability to captivate audiences, whether on stage or on screen. His roles in 6 of Allen's films, including the beloved Annie Hall, solidified his place in cinematic history. Born and raised in New York City, he was the son of a prominent radio and television announcer, and from an early age, he was destined for the spotlight. His career spanned decades, filled with memorable performances that left a lasting impression on fans and critics alike. His passing leaves a void in the entertainment world, but his legacy remains intact. A reminder of the magic he brought to every performance and the brilliance he shared with audiences across generations. Tony Roberts' presence on both stage and screen was unforgettable. He exuded charm, intelligence, and effortless charisma, making every role uniquely his own. His passion for performance was undeniable, tracing back to his roots in New York City, where he grew up surrounded by the booming voice of his father, a well-known radio announcer. After refining his craft at Northwestern University, Roberts stepped onto the Broadway stage, capturing audiences in productions like Take Her, She's Mine, Play It Again, Sam, and Victor, Victoria. His smooth transition from theater to film made him a recognizable face, particularly in his roles alongside Woody Allen in classics like Annie Hall and Hannah and Her Sisters. But while his career flourished, his health battles remained private. His memoir, Do You Know Me?, offered a rare glimpse into his experiences, but in his final days, the world would come to learn of his silent struggle with lung cancer. On February 7, 2025, the curtain closed on Roberts' life at the age of 85, leaving behind a legacy of sophistication and undeniable talent. Linda Lavin's sharp wit and dynamic presence made her an undeniable force in Hollywood. Best known as the fiery, determined Alice in the hit sitcom Alice, she embodied resilience and warmth, making her an instant favorite. Her 2 Golden Globe wins were only a fraction of the recognition she deserved. But, despite her success on television, Broadway remained her first love. From It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman to Broadway Bound, she mesmerized audiences with performances that spanned decades. But behind the spotlight, life wasn't always as glamorous. She faced personal struggles, including 2 divorces, yet she never let setbacks define her. In recent years, she had returned to the screen in Be Positive and Santa Clarita Diet, showing audiences that she hadn't lost her spark. Excitement was brewing around her latest project, Mid-Century Modern, a fresh take on The Golden Girls. but heartbreak struck before she could see its release. On December 29, 2024, after a brief yet fierce battle with lung cancer, Lavin passed away at the age of 87. Her absence leaves a void in entertainment, yet her legacy as a powerhouse actress remains unshaken. Brian Murphy, the British comedy legend who could make audiences laugh with just a glance, left an imprint on television that few could match. His career had its fair share of struggles, but perseverance led him to become one of Britain's most beloved comedic actors. Born in 1932, Murphy's early passion for performance was shaped by his time with Joan Littlewood's theatre workshop, where he learned the art of captivating an audience. However, the road to fame wasn't smooth. Before landing his breakout role in Man About the House, Murphy faced long periods of uncertainty, nearly leaving acting altogether. But when he was cast as the lovable, bumbling George Roper, his career skyrocketed. The character became so popular that it led to the iconic spin-off George and Mildred, cementing Murphy's place in television history. At its peak, the show attracted an astounding 20 million viewers. Even as time passed, Murphy remained a familiar face, appearing in One Foot in the Grave, Last of the Summer Wine, and The Bill. But time catches up with even the greatest performers. On February 2, 2025, Murphy passed away at the age of 92, leaving behind a legacy of humor and warmth that will never be forgotten. The loss of these legends serves as a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of fame, yet their contributions to the world of entertainment ensure their names will never fade. They brought joy, laughter, and inspiration to countless fans, proving that true artistry transcends generations. Though they may no longer be with us, their performances remain eternal, lighting up screens and stages, ensuring that their stories continue to be told. The world of Hollywood will never be the same, but their legacies will continue to shape the industry for years to come. Few figures in Hollywood command the level of admiration, controversy, and influence as Jane Fonda. From her earliest days as the daughter of screen legend Henry Fonda to her own rise as an Academy Award-winning actress, Fonda's career has been nothing short of remarkable. But beyond the glitz of Hollywood, she has faced relentless battles, from political backlash to personal health crises, yet she has never wavered. Even now, in her late 80s, Fonda remains as fiercely committed to her activism as she was in the turbulent 1970s. Whether you love her or find her stances divisive, one thing is undeniable: she refuses to be silenced. Born into Hollywood royalty on December 21, 1937, Fonda could have easily relied on her father's legacy, but she chose to forge her own path. Her breakout performances in Barbarella and They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Cemented her as a formidable talent, and by the 1970s, she had won 2 Academy Awards for Klute and Coming Home. Letters between John and Yoko hinted at a growing connection, but it was the quiet moments, the hushed phone calls, the obsessive letters, that revealed the true depth of John's fascination. In India, while the world thought he was meditating in solitude, John eagerly awaited Yoko's letters every morning, his mind far away from the spiritual retreat. Returning home, the truth unraveled. Cynthia's unexpected arrival from Greece caught John and Yoko in a moment of undeniable intimacy, their connection no longer hidden. The marriage crumbled, leaving Cynthia devastated. Meanwhile, the Beatles were pushing forward with their new business venture, Apple Corps, but it was chaos behind the scenes. John, lost in a haze of drugs and creative exhaustion, struggled to maintain focus. The release of Revolution showcased his evolving political stance, but critics dismissed it as weak. The White Album followed, a chaotic masterpiece that reflected the growing discord within the band. The world saw the brilliance. Behind closed doors, it was turmoil. By 1969, the tension had reached a breaking point. John married Yoko in March, sealing their bond with an artistic project that sparked controversy. The Beatles, once unbreakable, were now hanging by a thread. Paul McCartney's announcement of his solo album in 1970 shattered any hope of reconciliation. John was livid. He had started the Beatles, and he wanted to be the one to end them. His solo career began with a raw, emotionally charged album, Plastic Ono Band, a stark reflection of his childhood pain and disillusionment with fame. Songs like Mother laid bare his deepest wounds, while Working Class Hero challenged the very society that had idolized him. But John's battle wasn't just with the music industry, it was with himself. His activism grew louder, his political outspokenness making him a target. Power to the People was born out of his desire to appease radical activists, though he later admitted feeling manipulated. His protests against censorship, his fight against the Nixon administration's attempts to deport him, John was no longer just a musician. He was a revolutionary voice, but one that came at a cost. The stress, the pressure, the need to constantly prove himself, it all took its toll. By 1973, his personal life had spiraled. His marriage with Yoko was strained, and their separation led him into an 18-month period he called the Lost Weekend. Living with May Pang in Los Angeles, he dove into a world of excess, drowning in alcohol and reckless behavior. His drunken antics made headlines, from his bizarre outburst at a nightclub, wearing a sanitary pad on his forehead, to his embarrassing ejection from a Smothers Brothers performance. It was self-destruction in real time. Yet, through the chaos, he still created. His album Mind Games marked his attempt at finding clarity, but the road to redemption was long and winding. By 1975, John's world shifted once more. The birth of his son, Sean, changed everything. He stepped away from the limelight, embracing fatherhood with a devotion few expected. 5 years of near silence followed, but his artistic flame never truly dimmed. When he finally returned in 1980 with Double Fantasy, the world rejoiced. It was a celebration of love, renewal, and second chances. But fate had other plans. December 8, 1980, a date etched in history. The city lights of New York flickered as John and Yoko left their home, the Dakota. A fan, Mark David Chapman, stood waiting, clutching a copy of Double Fantasy. John, always generous with his fans, signed the album. Hours later, as they returned, Chapman was still there, lurking in the shadows. The gunshots rang out, echoing through the cold night. 4 bullets struck John, 2 in the back, 2 in the shoulder. The world stopped. Rushed to the hospital, he was pronounced dead at 11:15 p.m. Shockwaves reverberated across the globe. Yoko's plea for peace in the wake of his death was met with mourning that spanned continents. His music soared back to the top of the charts. Imagine became an anthem of hope and sorrow, a reflection of everything John had stood for. Even in death, he was larger than life. Tributes poured in, from fellow musicians to fans who had grown up with his voice shaping their dreams. In Central Park, a quiet memorial, Strawberry Fields, was created, a place where his legacy would forever be honored. And what of Chapman, the man who stole John from the world? His name remains a stain on history, locked away behind bars, denied parole time and time again. The loss of John Lennon was more than just the end of an era. It was the silencing of a voice that had challenged the world to imagine something greater. Yet, In every note of his music, in every lyric that speaks of love, rebellion, and peace, John Lennon lives on. His story is not just one of tragedy, but of an enduring spirit that refuses to fade. Even in death, his voice still echoes through generations.